A few weeks ago, I decided to visit a local cemetery that had a strange reputation. I'm 35 and work as a freelance journalist. I love finding unique stories and exploring abandoned places. The cemetery was only on the outskirts of town, and when I heard the whispers of its unusual history, I was intrigued. I packed my notebook and camera, excited to discover more. I arrived in the early afternoon. The sun was shining, but the atmosphere felt eerie. The gravestones were old and covered in moss, surrounded by gnarled trees. It had this creepy charm. I started taking pictures and jotting down notes about the strange symbols I saw. Then I heard it. A faint, whisper-like voice called my name. I spun around, my heart racing, but there was no one there. I figured it was just the wind. I brushed it off and continued my work. As days passed, I felt an unsettling sensation, like someone was watching me. I kept seeing shadows out of the corner of my eye whenever I approached the cemetery. I thought I was imagining things. Stress from work could be to blame, I reasoned. One evening, I met a local historian at a coffee shop. I wanted to learn about the cemetery's past. She told me about a mysterious figure seen at dusk, linked to an unsolved disappearance from the late 1800s. I found these stories captivating. I went back to the cemetery, eager to find out more. As I visited frequently, odd things started to happen. Inscriptions appeared on gravestones that hadn't been there before. I'd snap a photo, look away, and they'd be gone when I looked back. I felt my grip on reality slipping. Cold sweat trickled down my back as I wandered among the graves. One day, while taking notes, I noticed a figure in the distance. It was just a silhouette, blocking the sunlight. I called out, "Hey, are you okay?" There was no reply. I took a step closer, but the figure vanished. The air felt heavy. I struggled to catch my breath and turned to run, but my legs wouldn't move. I asked myself if I was losing my mind or if something deeper was at work. The cemetery drew me in, and I felt caught in its secrets. The line between reality and my imagination blurred. Then, one night while driving home, I heard that same voice again. This time, it was unmistakable. "Come find me." I slammed on the brakes. I glanced back at the cemetery, and goosebumps covered my arms. I thought about what I had uncovered. What was haunting the grounds? Was I meant to find out? I couldn't shake it off. I felt trapped in my curiosity. Each trip to the cemetery felt more dangerous. I didn't know what had called my name. All I knew was that I had to go back. I returned to the cemetery the next day, anxiety gnawing at my insides like a hungry beast. The shadows seemed thicker, clinging to the air as if alive. I told myself I was there for research, but a part of me wanted to understand that voice, to confront whatever lingered in the gloom. As I stepped through the wrought iron gates, I noticed a change. A chill ran through me, sharper than before. I looked around, half expecting that silhouette to appear again. Today, the sunlight felt muted, and wisps of fog curled around the gravestones. I focused on my notebook, determined to jot down every strange occurrence, yet my mind raced back to the ghostly call. "Come find me." What did it mean? I shook my head, attempting to clear the chaotic thoughts. I wandered deeper into the cemetery, pausing at a particularly weathered stone. It read the name of a woman, Amelia Hawthorne, who had disappeared in 1889. The local historian mentioned her during our chat, but the details were still murky. Something stirred in my memory, and I flipped through my notes, almost hypnotized. Suddenly, a strong gust swept through, rattling the branches overhead. My heart skipped as I felt pressure behind me, a moment of stillness before an invisible force seemed to observe me. I glanced around, but only shadows greeted me. Then, without warning, I saw something glinting near the base of Amelia's gravestone. I approached cautiously, brushing away leaves to reveal what looked like an old locket. My hand trembled as I reached for it, instincts screaming to leave it be. But curiosity won, and I picked it up. The locket felt surprisingly warm in my palm. I opened it to find an old photograph of a woman, possibly Amelia herself, smiling under the sun. On the other side was an inscription, "To my dearest, forever yours." The initials A.H. matched the name on the gravestone. My stomach twisted with excitement. This could provide the breakthrough I needed. But as I stood there, a feeling swept over me, like a wave of dread crashing down. That voice echoed in my mind again, sharper this time. "You shouldn't have come." I looked up, scanning the graveyard, but no one was visible. Panic laced my thoughts. What did the voice mean? I turned to leave, clutching the locket, but hesitated. Something glimmered in my peripheral vision. I instinctively looked back at Amelia's grave. An outline of a woman stood behind it, faint but present. Her eyes seemed to drill into my soul. My heart raced, and I backed away, the locket slipping from my fingers and falling into the soft earth. Everything in me screamed to run. I stumbled forward, but felt pulled back, as if the cemetery was a web ensnaring me. The graves whispered, the shadows curled tighter. I ran for the gate, my breath coming in ragged gasps. When I reached my car, I slammed the door and locked it. The voice echoed in my ears again, but now it was a warning. "You have to choose." I looked back, heart pounding, knowing I had discovered something crucial but terrifying. Another layer of mystery had been peeled back, and I realized I was not just a visitor anymore. I was entangled in a story far deeper than I had anticipated. What choice lay ahead? I didn't know, but one thing was certain. I wouldn't rest until I found out how Amelia's fate intertwined with mine. I didn't sleep well that night. The shadows of Amelia's grave followed me into my dreams, whispering secrets I couldn't quite grasp. I woke up in a cold sweat, the dim light of dawn trickling through my window. Pulling myself out of bed, I knew I had to return to the cemetery. I felt a pull, an obligation to finish what I had started. By the time I arrived, the sun hung low in the sky, casting an eerie glow. The air felt thick, heavier than before, as if the cemetery was holding its breath. I took a deep breath and stepped through the gates, clinging to the memory of the locket I lost. I needed to find it. I needed to understand Amelia. I made my way back to the gravestone, my heart racing with anticipation and dread. The area around her grave was undisturbed, leaves settling lightly over the ground. But something was different. I knelt down, brushing away dirt, half expecting to find the locket. Instead, I uncovered a folded piece of paper, much older than anything I had seen. My hands shook as I unfolded it. The writing was elegant, a careful script. "To my love, do not fear the shadows. They tell our story." I felt a shiver run down my spine. Who had written this? Was it from Amelia, or someone else connected to her? I looked around. The cemetery felt different, alive almost, with every breath I took. I thought I heard the soft echoes of a sob, as if the graves were mourning. Fear gripped me. This was a warning, or perhaps a plea. I glanced around nervously, aware of how exposed I was. "Come find me." The voice echoed in my brain again, and dread wrapped around my heart. Suddenly, a figure darted in my peripheral vision. My head snapped in that direction, but it was gone, leaving only a cold breeze in its wake. I stood up quickly, scanning the surrounding graves. "Hello?" I called out, but my voice sounded small against the weight of silence. As I continued to examine the area around Amelia's headstone, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. I turned back to the grave another time, and that's when I noticed something shimmering near the roots of the stone. I crouched down, feeling a mixture of hope and dread. It was the locket, glinting as if waiting for me to take it back. I reached out with trembling fingers, then froze. A low whisper slithered through the air. "You're too late." Panic gripped me, and I wasn't sure if it was the locket or the voice that drew me in. I wrenched my hand back, staring at it as the air around me thickened. "No," I whispered fiercely, clutching the paper tightly, horrified by the thought of losing it all again. Just as I made up my mind to run, the fog thickened, rolling in like a living entity. Shadows deepened around me, and I realized I wasn't alone. I was just about to turn and flee when I felt a presence beside me, a cold breath against my ear. "You must choose," it echoed, and darkness folded in closer, swallowing the daylight. I was trapped again, caught in a dance with something much older than myself. And this time, there were no more warnings. I stood there, paralyzed by fear. The whispering shadows pressed in, shifting like dark smoke. I could barely breathe. "Choose?" I murmured, barely audible. What did that even mean? I felt my heart pounding against my chest, a frantic drumbeat urging me to do something, anything. Just as I was about to bolt, a figure emerged from the fog, vague and shadowy. I squinted, trying to make sense of it. The outline of a woman hovered just beyond my reach. Her hair cascaded like a dark waterfall, but I couldn't see her face. "Amelia?" I managed, though the name felt foreign on my tongue. The figure tilted her head, the shadows dancing around her. Then she raised a hand, pointing toward the center of the cemetery. "Follow," she commanded, her voice echoing like a distant bell. Every instinct screamed for me to run, but curiosity rooted me in place. What was this place hidden between life and death? I don't know if I can," I managed, my voice shaky. But just as the words left my mouth, the shadows tightened their grip. They seeped into my very bones, a chilling reminder that I had already chosen to come here. The apparition beckoned again, her fingers still extended. I knew there was no going back, so I took a hesitant step forward, my feet moving almost of their own accord through the thick fog. The cemetery transformed with each step. Graves I had never noticed before started emerging from the mist, old stones blurred with time. As I followed her, the whispers grew louder. Confusing words tangled together, a jumbled litany of both sorrow and hope. I felt like I was floating, pulled deeper into an unseen world. What did she want from me? Then we arrived at a particularly old grave, weathered, almost consumed by vines. On the headstone, I saw a name I recognized, Thomas Grayson. My pulse quickened. I had seen that name in the town's library, mixed up in stories of murders and betrayal many years ago. Where did Amelia fit in? "Listen." The voice rang out again, sharper now. I looked back at the ghostly figure standing near the grave. "The truth is buried here." Before I could respond, the ground beneath the grave trembled slightly. It felt as if something was crawling beneath, wanting to break free. A sudden urge to dig surged within me. I fell to my knees, my fingers clawing at the earth. What would I find? Answers? Or perhaps something more sinister? The weight of the moment pressed heavily upon me. I looked up, and the figure was gone, leaving only the chill of her presence. I wasn't alone anymore. The whispers transformed into cries, sorrowful and pleading. I needed to know what lay beneath that grave. As I dug deeper, dirt and roots clumped together, but the fear of what I might uncover was overshadowed by a desperate need for answers. That's when I felt it, a solid object, something hard and cold, buried beneath layers of dirt. My fingers wrapped around it, and I paused, anxiety gripping my heart. This was the moment. I had to see what it was. With a deep breath, I pulled it free from the earth. A small, ornate box, its surface covered in symbols I didn't recognize. My stomach dropped. Was this the truth? Or was I stirring something best left undisturbed? Before I could open it, a gust of wind swept through the cemetery, extinguishing the last remnants of light. The whispers grew deafening. Someone was angry. Then, everything went dark. I jolted awake, startled and disoriented, my heart pounding against my ribcage. The darkness still hung around me, but I could vaguely make out the shape of the grave and the box in my hands. I was back at the cemetery, but the air felt heavier, thicker somehow. A chill ran down my spine. I quickly glanced around. The whispers returned, swirling around me like a storm. They felt more urgent now, pressing against my eardrums, pleading. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't find my voice. My fingers instinctively tightened around the box. Whatever it held, it felt like it had power. I reminded myself to stay calm, to think clearly. But fear churned in my stomach. Every nerve in my body was on high alert. I struggled to steady my breathing. The last thing I remembered was the wind, and then darkness. I forced myself to look closer at the box. The symbols etched into it flickered softly, almost inviting. I wanted to leave, but something made me hesitate. What if this box held the answers I needed? What if it explained the ghostly figure and all those whispers? My desire for truth battled against my instinct to run. I took a deep breath and gently placed the box on the ground beside me, carefully studying it. Just then, a soft rustling sound drew my attention. I turned sharply, every instinct signaling danger. A shadow moved among the headstones, but I couldn't tell what it was. My pulse quickened as it slinked closer, a silhouette cloaked in darkness. I couldn't see its face, but I could feel its gaze on me, heavy and watchful. "Who's there?" called out, voice trembling. The figure hesitated before stepping into the faint moonlight. My breath hitched. It was a man, his face gaunt and sunken, eyes hollow. He looked like he had crawled right out of the grave. "Leave," he rasped, voice like gravel. "You shouldn't be here. The truth is better buried." I barely processed his words. My eyes were fixated on the eerie expression he wore. I opened my mouth to respond, but the whispers intensified, drowning out my thoughts. They were louder than ever, swirling around us, frantic and chaotic. I felt exposed, a raw nerve in the midst of that confusion. "Stay away from the box," the man warned, taking a step forward. His presence was suffocating, an unshakable threat. I glanced at the box nestled in the dirt. "But I have to know." My voice sounded small even to my ears, lost among the cacophony. I could feel a connection to the object, as if it was waiting for me to make my choice. I swiped it off the ground and held it close. "It's not just a box," he cried, desperation rising in his voice. "It's a key to suffering. You'll unleash something you can't control." With those words, the ground beneath me trembled again. The screaming whispers shifted to something more coherent, forming an unholy chorus. "Don't let her open it!" I took a step back, the weight of the moment pressing heavy on my chest. The man's eyes were wider now, reflecting fear that matched my own. I glanced at the entrance of the cemetery. A way out, but one look back at the box etched with symbols made my heart race with curiosity and dread. If I ran, would I escape whatever was coming, or would I forever wonder what had been buried? As the trembling grew stronger, I knew I faced a choice that could change everything. "Am I too late?" I whispered, feeling the shadows close in around me once again. My heart pounded as the whispers surged, rattling my thoughts. I gripped the box tighter, the symbols almost glowing in the moonlight. The man's expression turned from warning to panic, as if he realized something I didn't. "Please, listen to me," he urged. "It's not a treasure, it's a curse. They won't let you leave. They'll come for you." I shook my head, refusing to believe him completely. Something was pulling me toward the box. How much could he know? I owed it to myself to at least find out what was inside. But I was losing time. The tremors beneath my feet were becoming more violent, and the air thickened with a palpable dread. Suddenly, the whispers shifted, turning into a singular voice, clear and demanding. "Open it." I stumbled back, my instincts screaming to run. But a part of me, a dark, curious part, wanted to obey. The man's gaze pierced through my fear. "Don't!" he shouted, reaching out to grab my arm. But before he could touch me, the ground shook violently. He was thrown back, collapsing against a grave with a loud thud. I barely had time to process what happened before the whispers rose to a deafening roar. "Open it! Open it!" echoed everywhere around me. "Stop!" I yelled, voice swallowed by the chaos. The box was vibrating now, as if it were alive. I felt the weight of the man's warning in my gut, but I couldn't tear my eyes away from it. The symbols danced like flames, teasing me to take a chance. Just then, everything went still. The whispers faded to a hush, leaving an uncomfortable silence. My breath came out in shaky gasps as I slowly looked around. The cemetery felt eerily quiet, like an unexpected calm before a storm. "Please, you have to believe me," the man rasped from the ground, trying to get to his feet. "You're playing with forces you don't understand." I swallowed hard. "Then tell me, what's in there?" He hesitated, eyes darting around as if the shadows were shifting. Finally, he lowered his voice to a whisper. "It contains the lost souls of the damned, each one desperate to escape." A chill ran through me. I glanced down at the box again, suddenly feeling heavy with the weight of every decision I'd made. The implications were becoming terrifyingly clear. If I opened it... "Don't," he begged. "You'll unleash something far worse than you can imagine." But his words sparked something inside me, a rebellious defiance. I wanted to know. I had to know. As I lifted the box, another tremor resonated from beneath my feet. "I'll take that chance," I declared, fueled by a mix of fear and curiosity. "No!" the man shouted in a voice full of desperation. I hesitated, fingers inches away from the latch. That's when I saw it, a movement from the shadows creeping near. Shapes began to materialize, dark figures shifting behind the headstones. They were coming from me. My pulse quickened. Was it too late to back out now? The air grew heavy with impending dread as the figures closed in, whispering in unison, "Open it, open it." I stole a glance at the man, but his expression reflected only horror. I could feel panic clawing inside my chest, but I hadn't crossed this threshold to turn back. So I took a deep breath, steeling myself for the unknown. If I had to face whatever was buried within, I wouldn't do it alone. "Then let's finish this," I muttered, and gripped the latch tighter. The moment felt like a countdown to chaos. Would I find answers or unleash a nightmare? As my fingers embraced the latch, a wave of dread washed over me. Still, I pushed it open. The box creaked as I lifted the lid, and the air was instantly saturated with the scent of damp earth and decay. My heart raced. Had I really just done this? The inside was shrouded in shadow, revealing only the flicker of something alive, twisting in knots. Like smoke. From deep within, a wailing sound erupted, chilling my bones and filling the graveyard with an anguished cry. I stumbled back, eyes wide as the shadows within the box blurred and surged. "Close it! Close it now!" the man shouted, scrambling to his feet. his voice piercing through my shock. But I stood frozen. The wails morphed into whispering voices, pulsing with desperation. "Help us!" they cried. "Set us free!" I felt a pull, an insatiable need to understand. I leaned closer, my breath catching. The whispers were no longer chaotic. They formed words that clawed at my insides. "You can save us. You're the one." "What do you mean, the one?" I stammered, shot through with confusion and fear. "Don't listen," the man shouted, and I caught a glimpse of terror in his eyes. "They'll lie to you. They're liars." But just as I began doubting the voices, the ground trembled violently again. The figures around the graves grew more distinct, taking forms with sunken eyes and twisted faces, their presence overwhelming. They drifted closer, their hands reaching out, begging for release. "Please, you are our only hope," one figure implored, its voice hauntingly familiar, like a distant memory. I shook my head, not understanding what it wanted from me. "Get away from me," I yelled, feeling cornered, my instincts urging me to run. But as I turned, I collided with something hard. I looked up to find the man standing there, his face pale and lined with sweat. "Don't you understand? They'll deceive you. To open that box is to invite them in," he said, his voice low but urgent. "You don't know what you're dealing with." "Then tell me," I shouted, the panic bubbling up again. "What do I do?" Just then, I noticed something on the edge of the box, a flicker of light, flickering wildly. It sparked like a dying ember, drawing my attention. "It's a trap. You have to fight it," the man urged. Before I could respond, the light flared, sending shockwaves through the air. In an instant, the box erupted, spilling a torrent of shadowy figures, their screams mingling with the wind. I stumbled back, nearly falling as the figures swirled around me. "Run!" the man yelled, grabbing my arm. "We need to escape before it's too late." But at that moment, everything collapsed into darkness. The weight of the shadows pressed down, and I lost sight of him. I was separated, caught in a whirlwind of chaos. "Help us! Help us!" the voices cried, drowning me in despair. "Stop!" I shouted into the abyss, desperation flooding my veins. "What do you want from me?" And that's when I felt something cold grip me from behind. The icy fingers curled around my throat. I gasped, heart racing as I fought against the hold. Panic surged through my veins, pushing me to fight back. Suddenly, I heard a faint whisper cutting through the chaos. "You must choose." That was when I knew. I needed to make a decision, fast. Would I give in and let the shadows consume me, or fight to reclaim my freedom? The darkness closed in, and I braced myself for what was to come. My mind raced as I flailed in the darkness, struggling against the icy grip on my throat. I didn't understand what was happening, but panic filled me like a hot flame. "Let go!" I choked out, my voice barely a whisper. The pressure tightened, and I thought I might pass out. But just when I thought I couldn't breathe anymore, the grip released. I stumbled forward, collapsing onto my knees. I gasped, trying to fill my lungs with air. The shadows were still swirling around me, and the wails and whispers morphed into something different, a cacophony of rage and sorrow. "Choose!" the voices shouted, overlapping each other, the urgency rising. "You must choose now!" I blinked away the darkness, trying to find something, anything solid. In the void, I saw the man's silhouette re-emerging beside me. "We need to make it stop!" he yelled, his voice strained. "What do I do?" I shouted, desperation seeping into my words. "Focus on the light," he urged, pointing toward a faint flicker cutting through the gloom. I knew it was the same light that had ignited the chaos moments before. "It's the key to stopping them. Grab it!" But as I turned to reach for the light, the shadows lunged at me, cold tendrils wrapping around my arms and legs, dragging me back. Help us!" they cried once more, their voices growing stronger, filling my mind with a sinister melody. "We need you!" "Get away!" I screamed, fighting against the weight of their grasp. I couldn't let them win. I had to escape. I clawed at the ground as I was pulled deeper into the darkness, every heartbeat thrumming in my ears. Then I noticed something, a glimmer hidden beneath the chaos. It was sharp and sparkled like broken glass, reflecting the faint light. I realized it had to be a shard from the box, a piece of the chaos it contained. If I could reach it, maybe I could fight back. With every ounce of strength, I pushed against the shadows. I saw the shard inching closer, and with a frantic lunge, I grabbed it. As soon as my fingers wrapped around it, a surge of energy coursed through me. The shadows recoiled, their cries shifting between frustration and fear. "Now, use the shard," the man urged, and I wasted no time. I held it high, feeling a surge of warmth envelop me. "Let them go," I yelled, my voice echoing in the darkness. The shadows shrieked, retreating as the shard erupted in a brilliant light. I watched in awe as they pulled back like water away from a flame. It felt as if the very fabric of the cemetery trembled beneath me. But there was still something I needed to do. My heart raced with determination. As the shadows writhed away from the light, I felt the pull of their longing. I took a step forward. "I won't abandon you," I called. "You don't have to stay trapped." But with my words, the horrific faces converged toward me, closer and clearer than before. Their eyes bore into my soul, filled with despair. "Foolish girl," one figure hissed, its voice dripping with malice. "You think you can save us?" I faltered, my resolve crumbling. Doubt washed over me again. What if I was wrong? What if this only made things worse? And then everything around me shattered. The light dimmed, pulling me back into the abyss. I was falling, consumed by swirling shadows that promised me knowledge, still whispering, "Choose." In that instant, I realized the depth of my choice and the danger I faced. Just as my heart sank, I felt a hand on my shoulder, a fierce, warm grip pulling me back from the brink. I spun around to find the man beside me, his eyes steely with resolve. "Trust me," he said, "you can't do this alone." That's when I felt it, the first flicker of hope. But in the back of my mind, something dark still lingered, waiting to strike. As we stood there, the shadows recoiling around us, my mind raced. "I don't understand what's happening," I said, my voice shaking. The man looked at me, his face a mix of urgency and determination. "Listen carefully," he said. "The shadows are souls trapped in a cycle of grief. They need a choice to be free, but they're filled with rage and confusion right now. We can help them, but you have to stay strong." "Help them? How?" I asked, half skeptical, half afraid of becoming part of their torment. "Your light, your hope is what they crave. Each time you use it, you have to show them that there's a way out." He pointed to the whispered faces. "You need to reach out to them. Let them know you understand." I couldn't just leave them. The weight of their despair tugged at my heart. I took a deep breath. "I know it's hard," I called out, desperate to be heard. "I can't fix everything, but I want to help you. I want you to be free." The shadows twitched, uncertain. Some figures paused, their hollow eyes fixated on me, as if they were waiting for something. "Now," the man said quietly, squeezing my shoulder for encouragement. "Use the shard again. Show them the light." I raised the shard, its radiant energy pulsating through me. I focused, visualizing a warm glow spreading from my heart, the hope bursting forth. "You don't have to be alone," I shouted, my voice strong now. "You can choose to let go. I can help you." The shadows swelled around me, moving closer, echoing a blend of disbelief and yearning. In that moment, I saw a face break through, a woman with tear-streaked cheeks and eyes filled with sorrow. She reached for me, trembling. "Help us," she whispered, her voice cracking. "We are lost." I felt a rush of clarity. You are not lost. You can choose to step into the light. You don't have to remain in this cycle. I felt emboldened, but then I sensed an abrupt shift. A dark force gripped my mind again, tightening like a vice. "No!" the man shouted, pulling me back again. "Don't lose focus. You have to believe." He pushed the shadows away with his own light, but the darkness surged with an intensity that made my skin crawl. Out of nowhere, a low growl echoed through the chaos, sending a jolt of fear through me. "They come!" the man yelled, panic flashing in his eyes. "The darker spirits resent your light. They will try to take you." I looked around, the faces of anguish morphing into snarls. I felt their desperation escalating, whispers becoming vicious shrieks. "Choose!" they cried, a threatening chorus. "Choose us or choose to be trapped forever." The ground began to shake and the energy around us surged. I knew I had mere seconds before the shadows would engulf me again. And with that realization came clarity. I could not just be a vessel for their pain. I had to decide who I would fight for. That's when I saw it, a flicker in the distance, a beam of light cutting through the swarming shadows. I had to reach it. "Follow me," I shouted to the man, my heart racing as I grabbed his hand. "We have to move." Together we pushed through the darkness, fighting against the tide of shadows that clawed at our heels. I could feel their rage behind us, and it fueled my determination. Each step brought me closer to the light, but would it be enough to escape? And what awaited us when we reached it? An unseen force clawed at my mind, whispering a new fear. Perhaps the choice was never mine to make. The journey toward the light felt like wading through molasses, each step heavy and threatening to pull me back into the chaos. The shadows writhed around us, whispering promises and threats that ricocheted inside my skull. Suddenly, the ground trembled violently beneath us. I stumbled, bracing myself as the man steadied me. "Keep going," he urged, his voice strained. "Where are we headed?" I shouted, fear mixing with determination. "To the heart of it all. It's our only chance." He pointed toward the light, growing brighter yet maintaining an unsettling allure. As we approached, I felt the air surge with energy. The light pulsed rhythmically, a heartbeat syncing mysteriously with my own. Yet beneath it, shadows writhed, ominous and impatient. "Don't look back," he cautioned, but I couldn't help it. Curiosity gnawed at me. Brief glimpses of anguished faces and piercing eyes called out, filling my mind with confusion. Is this what freedom looks like? I wondered to myself, hesitating as doubt crept in. "Focus," the man urged, and I quickly turned back to the light. It was closer now. Blinding. No more hesitation, we're almost there. But the whispers grew urgent, morphing into a deafening roar around us. "Choose! Choose!" they screeched, each voice layered with anguish, desperation, and anger. They tightened their grip, a reminder of the pain they carried. "What do they want from me?" I shouted, feeling my resolve waver. "They want to claim you as one of their own," he shouted back, dragging me forward. "Resist, dig deep, and find your own purpose here." Just then, a powerful force lashed out from the shadows, a tendril that struck me and flung me backward. I landed hard, the breath whooshing from my lungs. Struggling to stand, I gasped for air, realizing the man had pressed forward alone, drawn to the light by an overwhelming need for freedom. "No!" I called, but my voice barely reached him. The shadows surged around him, trying to ensnare him as he neared the threshold between darkness and light. I could see fear wash over his face, mingling with fierce determination. Don't give in, I screamed, desperately clawing my way toward him as I fought against the shadows choking the life from me. The man's eyes locked onto mine. You need to choose, he shouted as the darkness tugged him back. I won't let you share my fate. In that moment, clarity pierced through the confusion like a spear. This wasn't just about me understanding the tortured souls around us. It was about him, too, a shared survival. I can't lose you, I cried back, hands stretched out as I pushed against the tide of shadows wrapping around him like chains. The shadows hissed and recoiled, anguished by my connection to him. His voice fell softer, changed. You have to find your own strength. Do it for both of us. The shadows constricted tighter. In his eyes, I saw the surrender that lingered beneath the fierce resolve. No, I shouted, raising the shard buried deep in my grasp. I thought of the light again, my heart bursting with hope. I choose light. I choose to free you. A burst of energy erupted from the shard, cascading into the form of radiant light. It swelled, illuminating the cemetery with a warmth that pushed back the darkness. The shadows shrieked, but now they were blurring, disintegrating against the glow. I choose you, I yelled, feeling the connection pulse stronger between us. Together! The light flooded me, overwhelming yet freeing. I could feel the resonance of hope intertwining with anguish, and the very essence of the darkness began to crack and peel away. Around us, tendrils withdrew from the man, and I could see him nearing the light. Don't let it go, he shouted. Don't look back. The poor souls whispered desperately now, but I pressed on. You don't have to stay trapped. Choose to let your pain go. Choose the light. More shadows broke free, merging with the brilliance, lost to the void as they surrendered their grief. The air thickened with the scent of damp earth and renewal, swirling with the echoes of those once lost. In a heartbeat, the light expanded, wrapping us both in its warm embrace. It enveloped the cemetery, a cleansing fire consuming the darkness. Together we lunged forward, past the crest of the unknown, through to freedom. And then everything exploded into a kaleidoscope of color and warmth. I could see faint outlines of faces in the light, peaceful, grateful. When I finally blinked against the radiant glow, I realized I was back on solid ground, the air fresh and vibrant. Those who had once mourned remained only as echoes, their whispers faded into distant memories. The cemetery stood behind me, silent and calm, transformed. I turned, breathless, my heart still racing, my eyes meeting his. The man was beside me, still there. Relief washed over me. Did we do it? I asked, still catching my breath. He looked over his shoulder, then back at me, and nodded slowly. I think so. But the cemetery stood there, vacant yet alive, holding its secrets like a memory in the corner of my mind. I knew, somehow, that the mystery wasn't fully solved. Those shadows, those stories, would remain echoes, waiting for others to seek understanding. I moved to leave, but felt a shiver run through me. What lingered beneath the surface was alive, waiting for its moment to awaken again. Despite our victory, I understood the ambiguous dance between light and shadow, a truth intertwined in the life that moved around us. As I made my way home, I realized that while the shadows might have receded for now, grasping the distance between light and dark was never going to be straightforward. And perhaps the choice resided not only in uncovering the past, but also in the future, a path tinged with both uncertainty and wonder.